Shavkat Rakhmonov, the boogeyman of the welterweight division, improved to 19-0 with his unanimous decision victory over Ian Machado Garry at UFC 310. 48-47 was the score on all three judges' scorecards. I think everybody who watched that fight would agree that Shavkat clearly won that fight 3-2. Ian Machado Garry, almost with the last-second upset, nearly submitting Shavkat, which seemed like the least likely option of an Ian Machado Garry win. However, that jiu-jitsu has just significantly improved since training with Diego Lima and Charles Oliveira since last December. And I think Shavkat, really had a strong showing, as well as Ian Machado Garry. However, I think it's kind of clear that Belal Muhammad will give Shavkat plenty of trouble when they meet in 2025. This was a #1 contenders bout. Belal Muhammad was in attendance. He went in the octagon to face off with Shavkat. Kind of that weird moment how the UFC didn't let Belal Muhammad into the octagon, not recognizing that he was the champion. Belal is a pretty average-looking guy, kind of unassuming. Doesn't look like he's one of the baddest men on the planet. But Belal Muhammad versus Shavkat, I know Belal Muhammad's not the most popular fighter in the world, and I know he's not very well liked or respected among fans. But I don't see Belal Muhammad losing this fight. I know Shavkat, fought on a torn MCL, so he probably didn't look as explosive as he normally would be. But the pace that Belal Muhammad fights, I don't know if that's something that Shavkat can keep up with for 5 rounds. Shavkat was looking pretty tired after 5 rounds against Ian Machado Garry. That 5th round, I thought, was his worst round. Ian got better as the fight went on. Shavkat kind of wasn't as good as the fight went on. He spent a lot of time in the clinch, really couldn't take Ian down, and he really struggled with that. Ian's takedown defense was terrific, but Belal Muhammad himself is an excellent grappler, pretty strong guy. We saw him just completely ragdoll Leon Edwards at UFC 304 to get his, welterweight championship. And in his first title defense, Shavkat is a pretty tough fight. But that pace that he fights with on the feet, he has really good jab, Belal. We saw that against Leon Edwards. I thought Belal was beating Leon Edwards on the feet that night, and I think he's going to beat Shavkat in the stand-up game as well. Grappling-wise, obviously Shavkat's really strong, but we just saw him, lose some exchanges with Ian Garry. Ian Garry is the first guy to win some exchanges with Shavkat, and I think Belal's really going to give Shavkat a lot of trouble, and I'm starting to favor Belal Muhammad in that fight. It's probably going to take place in the early part of 2025, and Shavkat, however, 19-0, 18 finishes. Still a great fighter and still a very big threat in the welterweight division. Obviously, he's been avoided this entire time for a reason. But Belal Muhammad and Shavkat is definitely going to be one of the more intriguing matchups that we see early in the year for the UFC.